Welcome back to the WHHI News. Well, when you go on apps, do you realize that sometimes information about you can be collected and shared with companies? Maybe you know that, but we've got someone here that's going to tell you how to maybe avoid that more often, and it's Scott Cooke. He's the Public Information Director of the South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs. Scott, how often are people tracked or is information gathered when people are using apps?
Well, I mean, it's pretty much constant that your information is kind of being gathered these days, especially, with our smartphones and all. We're kind of walking around with that data and we're constantly using it and constantly kind of interacting with it. So, especially every app and every kind of feature you're using, those things are gathering information about you. So we're really kind of encouraging people to think about that and kind of look at those privacy settings and things and kind of look at stuff on your phone and say, what is this thing? If it's the device, if it's the app, all of those things, and even the browsers you're using, they're all kind of gathering different information at all times. So it's kind of taking a look at each one of those things, looking at the privacy settings and saying, what is it using? And do I want to give this company that much information and that much, knowledge about what I'm doing with my life?
So, Scott, if I've got apps already installed on my device, how am I going to change the privacy or see what kind of privacy settings I have? What's the best thing to do?
Yeah, you can go into the settings on your phone or your device and, you may want to just even type privacy in that search and it will pull up the list of all those apps and things. And you can kind of individually go through and look. It can kind of be time consuming if you've got a lot of stuff on your phone, but it's really kind of worth that time. You want to pull them up and look and see, is it looking at your microphone data? Is it pulling up your location? Is it pulling up, your internet usage? Is it looking at the contacts that are on your phone? You kind of want to look at all those types of things. And you may say, well, your Maps app, you probably want it to know your location, but you may not want Solitaire to know your location. Why does a Solitaire game need that kind of information? So you kind of want to just evaluate the service and the, even the company that you're dealing with and say, who is this company? What is this service? Kind of what am I getting in return for the data that they're getting on me?
Right. I mean, an example might be, say, if I was looking up something about headaches, I had headaches, and I Googled it or whatever. If my privacy apps aren't set on some of my apps, all of a sudden I might get an email about headache medications right? I mean, that's the kind of thing they can gather and then target you on, correct?
Yeah, and there's another thing you can do, like on your iPhone, or if you have an Android, you can go in and you can just type in advertising on the search, and it will pull up if you're getting targeting advertising just even based off the phone usage. So you kind of want to look at that too. And it may be an issue of your browser, like if you're going through a certain search browser with your internet, you might want to look at that and see, is it keeping cookies? Is it refreshing, what pages you look at? You can set some of them to clear off every time you close the app. So,
right.
Really kind of know the apps and know the service that you're using and
really important.
Understand how it works and what you want to share.
Well, guess what? We're already almost out of time. Before you leave, what do we do with old devices that we're not using?
Yeah, the big thing is, you want to do those factory resets or erases and get all that information off of it that may already be on there. If your phone or your tablet or whatever takes an SD card, you're going to want to make sure to get that SD card out of there before you do something with that device. DHEC really encourages people to recycle those devices once you've cleared all that data off of them. They have a lot of issues with those batteries kind of leaking and getting chemicals into the environment. So, you want to go to those, some counties have recycling places set up. I know DHEC has a website where you can go and you can kind of look at those device recycling things with them and just kind of make sure you're disposing of those properly.
Well, Scott Cooke with the South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs, thank you so much for giving us some great information.
No problem. Thank you.
Don't go away. When we come back, we'll talk to Brenda Shaw with the Lowcountry Food Bank about a great event featuring 30 chefs. Stay right there.